the secret's out that I'm doing both of these at the same time. So here's my wonderful prom dress again. If you didn't see it before, it's peacocks. Well, I love birds. That's one of the best birds. Possibly the best bird. And I think a peacock is an angel. You know the stories about angels and like how they have all those different eyeballs and whatever? I think it's a peacock, albino too, because they're supposed to be like white with flames or whatever. I don't quite remember what the Bible said, but something like that. Anyways, I just went to birds are magic. I love birds. Anyways, what am I doing here? Where's my train of thought? So I have a nightstand it's really, really old. It was my great grandmother's. And the top of it is like, doing a wood thing where it's coming apart. So it would need to be coated with some kind of like a shellac or wood something. I'm not a construction person. I don't know these things. But I just put a tablecloth on it because that's what I can do. So I've been using a table placemat thing that you put under your food if you eat. I'm not so civilized that I do that, so I'm not certain what this is called. Did I just say its name? Whatever that is. Placemat. Oh my. Anyways, I had a sister. My nephew refers to that one as, or he used to, Fancy Auntie. I'm pretty sure she's the one who bought the tablecloths because I remember them being on her table. She had this round wooden table that she had bought. Anyways, I am completely today my brain yesterday was horrendous, so today is wiggly. At least it's a good day. It's just a day that's I don't even know. So I'm making a new tablecloth cover because I don't want to look at this red one. I don't like the color red. It's just not my vibe. I needed it to be pink or purple or something blue even, but not red. So I went to the craft area to pick some fabrics, and these are the ones I decided on. Technically, this was supposed to be double-sided. That was the vision, but it got a little weird at the end, so now it's single-sided. I made a questionable decision. That's okay. I'm not a good sewer. I've never been great at sewing. My mother taught me to sew when I was extremely young, but yet, am I good at it? No. I'm still making the same mistakes. Very, very bad at this. Don't love sewing. Hand sewing's a lot easier, but I can't because it hurts these parts of your hands, So, and after the electrocution, I was told I have carpal tunnel in my arms. So, and that's not fixable, So, gotta kind of be careful so you don't wind up needing a surgery. How many times am I going to say the word sew? That is bothering me. Do you see my Scooby-Doo? I love Scooby-Doo. I've always loved Scooby-Doo. So I use this Scooby-Doo Halloween decoration as a pin cushion because why not? What else are you going to use as a pin cushion, right? Scooby-Doo. My favorite Scooby-Doo episode was the Cyber Chase one. I still love that one. Anyways, so I cut out some fabric that was slightly bigger than the original placemat, and I was going to put some frilly things on the ends. I almost just cussed by mistake. I'm trying to be not a sailor. If you want to have things that stick off the ends, you put them in the fabric. Also, you do pretty sides together, right sides together, ugly sides out, wrong sides out when you sew like this, because you're going to right side it out because, you don't want your thread on the outside. I didn't change my bobbin to a color that would work. It just is what it is. It's like teal or something. I'm only going to try to change that. Bobbins are hard. Sewing is hard. Got to be as basic as possible if I'm sewing. So in order to make the lace on the outside, when you have the wrong sides together, you put the lace in the inside of the two layers, but facing pretty side like that. So when you sew it, you're sewing the flat side, Did that make sense? Was that coherent? Is anything I say coherent? I don't know. So I pin around the pieces of the fabrics so that they stay together as I'm working around the sewing machine. And you need to leave a gap somewhere on it so that you can right side it out. I did not leave a big enough gap, and that's why I made a very questionable decision with my quilting attempt. I was going to hand quilt this, but then I have big hands. I can't get my hand into a little space. I didn't think that out. I made the gap too small. So I couldn't just keep putting my hand in to do the French knots. I was going to do French knots on both sides. I realized I couldn't really get my gigantic hand in there the way I needed to in order to do French knots on both sides. So it wound up being French knots on one side and a hot mess on the other. It's fine. Whatever. It is what it is. It's at least a first attempt, and if I choose to do this again, I now know. Leave that side way bigger because it doesn't really matter when you sew it at the end. In my opinion, I don't really notice like the stitching where you close it on the outside, especially if you put it under something like the white noise machine or the lamp. I almost call that thing a candle. I went back to the 1800s there for a second. And then I had some extra, so I just cut off the ends so that it wouldn't have too much bulk on the inside. But when you flip it over, it's like a pillowcase. It's flappy and loose, so it has to be quilted somehow in order to be a thing. And since I had that teal bobbin, I wasn't going to try to quilt it on the outside, which was the original idea. If it was white or pink, I would have just straight quilted over, you know, but it's not. So I tried to use embroidery thread. Found a big eye, a needle with a big eye, and then some white thread. This is kind of thick thread because I don't have regular white for some reason. When I bought white, you know, you can't tell if you're getting it online. It's some weird shiny thing. It's so thick, but you can't pull the strands apart because they're too curly. They just don't come apart. So that was weird. So luckily my purple stuff had like this pattern on it so that I could like math and count. I just, you know, like that's counting. So that they're even. Does that make any sense at all? And I just do French knots every couple of lines, spots, whatever, so that it like holds together, so that it's not flappy sacky. It's more quilted. Does that make sense? Because I've never done anything like this before, and I was thinking, how do you go about quilting something like this? And of course I thought, well, French knots are cute, let's do French knots. But then when I realized I couldn't get my hand in there easily, and I was gonna have to jump the back like this, it's funky. It got funky. Whatever. It is what it is. If I had left room and it was going to be better, then you just French knot, and then you go, instead of doing what I did on the other side, just go back into the fabric and French knot again, back and back and back. You know what I mean? Like just lobby yourself back and forth with French knots, and that would have been fast and easy if I could have done it, you know. So live and learn. I figured it out. It's still kind of fine as long as I'm just only looking at this side. I think it's fine. And then also, since this is the good side, I'm realizing my lace is upside down because, you know, you have to sew the ends of the lace so they're not just frayed lace sticking out. And I didn't want lace all the way around because then it gets in the way of your drawer and your nightstand. Not that I ever close that drawer. I have a habit of just leaving the drawer hanging open because it's like an extension of the table, and that's where I put my phone. They're just hanging off the open drawer. But hey, you know, it's a little table, and I don't like my phone on the actual table because that's usually where the water is, and it gets cluttered. It's a small table. Why did I say that twice? Anyways, so it's kind of a mess, but it works. It is machine washable. Maybe. I don't know if it would hold up because it's got these weird lines in the back, but the front is kind of cute. I do like the attempt. I like the concept of what I had going on here. My execution just needed more work. So it is what it is. Also, have I referenced what I'm wearing yet? I don't remember how this video started. It's been a long 8 minutes and I lost my memories here. This is my prom dress. Why do they make so much extra room at the top of a dress? Like I could fit my hands in here with it because there's so much extra room. Why do they do that? Why do they make them so freaking big that it doesn't do anything? It's just a big gap. You'd have to like put a freaking sock in there in order for it to not be a big gap. But this dress, you can't tailor that because it's got all this hand beading at the top. So I forget where I got this. I think it was a bridal store. Anyways, bye.